Alright, Michelle, where are we?
Alright, well, seems as though you guys seem to enjoy my shed tour so much, or the Hackshop shed tour so much. What we thought we might do is continue on with that a little bit and take you through another shed. Specifically, this is, as you've already seen, Tinman Fabrications, otherwise known as Les. This is his home shed. It's a pretty interesting shed. There's a lot to it. It's a lot more decorated than mine and more pleasant to look at, but we thought we'd take you through it and show you a few things that's in here. Well, being that this is the shed that Nathan grew up in.
No, it hasn't actually.
Hasn't it?
This has been through probably 3 remodels. So this shed's only 5 years old. So I grew up in the shitty shed and worked on cars in the shitty shed, as we'll call it. So this is quite an upgrade, but I'm still yet to sort. Oh no, I've used this shed. I've used the shit out of this shed. There's a lot to look in this shed, and there's a lot of stories behind everything in this shed, but we'll kind of nosy over everything. So it's 14 meters long by 4 meters wide, and it's got 3.2 walls with a peak of 3.6. 3.8.
You're really good with numbers today.
Anyways, the hoist actually goes at full length, at full height with a lot of cars with this height. Even with the 4-wheel drives, we've got full height. So it's actually not a bad height for the hoist.
That's better than mine.
And I think Michael's doesn't actually go this high as well.
No, because I got the top beam, whereas this is the floor crossover thing. So
yeah. The downside is the hump that you've got to get over.
Yeah.
But it goes higher than Michael's, and I don't hit my head on this hoist.
I got nothing. They're cool. Anyway, tell us what is the shed used for?
The shed is used for everything, I guess. You could build a car out of this shed if you really wanted to. There's welders, lathes, and everything up there. It's just a matter of tightness, because next to this is a caravan, so it couldn't go any wider. So the only problem is when there's a car on the hoist, you can't walk around the hoist. You've got to walk under it. So, but mainly servicing, lift kitting patrols. We've done a lot of things in here. Oh, he did the diesel conversion on his 60 series in here. It's just a shed to build shit in. It's like Michael's shed. It's just smaller. It's as simple as that. And longer, but just because it's small doesn't mean you can't do anything in here. You can build whatever you want in here. There's every tool you can think of in here.
Yeah. This is a perfect example of what you can do when you've got a smaller area to work with.
Exactly right. So yeah, it's mainly to store stuff as well. But yeah, you can build anything you want in this shed.
Yeah.
So over there is our main service area. We've got rags, grease guns, trans fluid, oil, stuff like that. This wall used to be an old sign wall. So people that watch this, some people might not know that signs used to actually be hand painted, and then you would nail it to the wall and then paint the sign. So this is actually an old sign wall that I got off my boss. Dad cut up and created this wall out of so we could pin things to. And lucky him, at the time this shed was getting built, I was an apprentice and still going to trade school. So lucky him, he got all the signs that I made at trade school.
That's not a bad deal.
So he did all right out of it. There's a few hand painted ones, lots of prints, some laser cut acrylic. He even got a golden fleece light box. So he did all right out of that.
So one cool thing that I like about this setup is that it has aerials both at the front here, so you can actually get all the way down to the driveway, because the driveway is fairly lengthy in this place as well too, so that's really handy. And they have another aerial down here, which is hooked up to a compressor at all times, which is cool, because you can never have enough air. We've got Nathan's only fan up there, nice and lonely.
Oh, is that because I had the hold and dig?
One thing that he does have in this shed, which I would love to have, is a wood fire. If I could find a place to put one in my shed, I reckon a wood fire would be really good, because It gets bloody cold in the shed, and this would be a great way of heating it.
In here is a lot of like electrical stuff and drill bits and heat shrink and double-sided tapes and stuff like that. Kind of your consumables, I guess.
That's a cool idea, having it all there handy.
This is really good, I love this.
I've always wondered I've seen that every time I come here and never actually looked inside.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, that, because it's not in drawers, you know, because it's off the floor. So it's more floor space. All this stuff that could go in something that takes up this much space is now on the wall and off the floor.
Yeah.
All the sprays, grease and everything, degreaser, all there on the shelf because you're working on the car right here, so you want it all handy.
I've just had an idea. So one really cool hack that Les has got here is for under bonnets of cars. He's got just about, I can't look up because I'll blind myself, one of the brightest LED, what are they called, like a UFO light type thing that you could have. And this will light basically the dark side of the moon, I reckon. So that's a really good good little hack.
It's nice and low, so then you can have the bonnet up and you've got plenty of light under the bonnet.
Yeah, because you can never have enough lighting. And in this shed, similar to my shed, all the lighting is LED, so they're fluoro LEDs. They actually light the shed really well. You get a really nice reflection through it all, so you don't get a lot of shadowing. Like I'm standing here and you get next to no shadowing. Shadowing is one of the worst things you can have in a shed, especially when you're working over a bench. That's why the lighting is here, so you're not getting a shadow while you're working, which is, that's perfect. That's exactly what you want. So we'll talk about this bench now, because there's a few goodies in this. One thing that's awesome I like about this is the shelving with all the drills up here, easy to get to, quick to get to, everything is batteries. Les is obviously a Makita man. Big old school grinder, that's really cool. That looks like it's about like 60 years old. And I'm guessing Nathan, you pinstripe this as well too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a nice touch, I like it. The bench is made out of pallet racking with just chipboard top on it. Seems to work really well. But one of the coolest things here is this big 15mm slab of steel, which Les says he uses mostly for just dollying on or sort of hammering on, stuff like that. I'd actually love something like that in my shed for that exact reason. And it's also a nice flat surface as well too that you could rely on as well to be flat, which would be handy.
A table on wheels is really good, or even just like that tray up there, that's on wheels. Even though it's full of my junk, it's still good to have.
It's just handy to be able to wheel stuff to the job.
A nice little lathe. So a lathe is something that Michael really wants. We've actually had to get Dad to lathe a few things for us because he's got a lathe and we don't.
But this one does the job. It's a tiny one, but it does the job.
Yeah, it's got auto feed and stuff. It's actually a grass little lathe. It's just a matter of buying some better bits for it. And then, you know, trial and error and using it. You know, this is just, there's just benches everywhere. You can never have enough benches in storage, you know, like pallet racking is probably the best thing you could possibly buy for a shed for storage.
Especially a shed this size when you're trying to make use of every square inch.
Yeah, well, because it's tall and it's only skinny and long, that's why there's a giant mezzanine. So the mezzanine is probably the key factor to this shed. Is because it stores all the shit that you don't want on the ground, that you don't use a lot of the time. Like, you know, up there we've got a lot of bikes and just memorabilia and stuff like that up there, you know, fridges and all back. That whole mezzanine there is just full of camping gear. But the mezzanine is probably the best thing to keep it all off the ground. Like if you have a high shed and you can put a mezzanine in, I'd build a mezzanine.
Yeah,
Michael, we've been looking at Michael's shed to build a small mezzanine to put stuff that we never use.
Yeah, I just don't have the height, unfortunately, but we'll figure something out, I reckon.
Yeah, but if you've got it, you might as well use it. Compressor is down there. And we've got Go Jacks for when we had the old shed because it was 2 cars wide. They're really good actually. We used it to move the boat around.
Can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
Are they Go Jacks on like their own Go Jack because it wheels out as well?
Yeah, they're Go Jacks on Go Jacks. So it's a Go Jack on its own Go Jack stand. First aid box, which you don't go to. You get masking tape out of that cupboard to fix your finger. You don't go to
that. So coming into this area, one of the cool things about having a mezzanine is that you can have storage like this underneath, so you can have all your steel stock. And that's a really handy thing to do, I reckon. If you can do that, it just it gets it out of the way. It's up above your head. You're never even going to worry about it getting in your way. So something like that is awesome. But this toolbox makes my toolbox look like a kid's toy. This has got. If you can't find the right tool in this toolbox, then you don't belong in a shed. Let's be honest. Look at the vice grips. I've never seen so many in one area, let alone in the toolbox. It's actually way more organised than mine and laid out perfectly. And this little side section thingy here is pretty wicked because look at this, how clean it is. All the files. And if you want a drill bit, take your pick. The same sort of setup, PPE on top with ear protection and gloves and glasses, easy to get to. That's always what you want to have handy. More clamps! This is what happens when you're a fabricator, I guess. You have a lot of clamps to hold shit down.
Well, clamps are your best friend because you only got 2 hands.
Yeah, and but when you're welding something and it doesn't quite fit, so you just bend it and
then
hold
weld
it
it
and go tack it and go, alright, she's good. I know how to fabricate. You're important because everyone's going to ask. The beer fridge, of course. And that's a much bigger beer fridge than what we've got. That's a nice looking beer fridge.
The thinking chair.
Is this the chair that Les sits in when he gets shit wrong and when the time's not working, you just sit there and you go,
shit.
This is where I would sit, you know when you screw something up and you get on eBay and you're sitting there like, alright, I need to find the solution. The welding bench, this is a bench that I would love to have in my workshop. To have a proper full-size welding bench with everything underneath it like this would be awesome. Nice little shelf all the way along it, which is, that's why it's one sheet, huh? So it goes like that.
It's folded, yeah. That's all one piece.
So the shelf is actually the one piece, believe it or not, which is pretty impressive. And if you're wondering why there's Venetians here, that's because they're going into the HQ, the LSQ, by the way. So there's a little spoiler for you. The nut bolt wall.
Oh, look to your left as well.
Where I've got Nathan to raid for me many a times when I've needed something in the workshop for us. Because we don't have anything like this just yet. It takes years to amass this many nuts and bolts, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. But just storing it in the clear containers with the green tops, so you can see what you've got.
That's a really good idea, actually.
Mm.
Nice and easy, and if you need to, you can take it to the job as well too, which should be cool. Because you can grab it and walk away with it. Another toolbox. Oh yeah. Sandpaper.
Yeah.
Electrical. This is more like a miscellaneous toolbox then, I guess.
So this is actually not a bad toolbox because it's got these wings that open out on both sides. They don't really get used, but
It's a cool little hidden feature.
yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
a cool little thing. Toilet. Having a toilet in a garage is a blessing because that means you don't have to go inside. So after you have your 12 o'clock kebab after working on your car, you can just dump the kebab out there.
This toilet is actually full of memorabilia.
Yeah,
It's even got fairy lights. For a little bit of atmosphere.
It's quite the garage toilet, actually.
This is kind of the inspiration as to...
I'm not going to get in there and talk. You can just go in there. Anyway, that's the pooper. So behind here is actually the tool shed, really. This is where all the tools are. If you can't fix anything in this garage with any of the tools in here, you're not the right person to fix it. It's got a parts washer. Yeah, it's endless. Like, there's boxes and boxes of different tools. There's lots of tools that me and Michael need. But this is, yeah, main storage for tooling and stuff that, you know, you don't really want to see out there.
That's just to get it out of the way, isn't it? Just to
Yeah,
make room.
exactly right. All the paints, wax and grease remover. It's on an old ladder that he's cut down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's a ladder that he's cut down and it's hanging by chains.
It's one way of doing it, I suppose.
It's just a matter of getting everything off the counter and in the air, really.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what it is. It's a matter of getting it off your bench where you're working and up somewhere that you can still get to it and see what you want. That's basically the thing to every shed. So the LSQ is actually done, but he's already got his sight sets on another he's already bought another project, and we're going to obviously play our little part in it, not to the extent of the LSQ, but he's got another car. I'm not going to say which car, but we are going to have a photo soon of it. It's very different, but it's going to be barra powered, this one. We're not going LS this time. We're going to barra swap something, but we're not barra swapping a Patrol, or we're not barra swapping a... What else do they barra swap these days?
Everything.
Barra swapping something very different.
That'll be exciting, that one.
It is going to be a good one, and wait till we get the photo of it. So yeah. It's a good shed. It's good to work out of.
Yeah, it's not a bad shed to work out of.
It's not about. I'm pretty lucky to have a shed like this and be able to work. And I don't have a shed like this, but to be able to come here and put my car on the hoist and work on it. There's a lot of people that aren't, that don't have hoists and a lot of the equipment that he does. So I'm very thankful that my old man has got tons and tons of tooling that he's built up over the years and I'm allowed to use.
So the mezzanine now.
Yeah, because we just found a photo of actually what the project is. I know we're going to say we'll wait for a photo, but why? We have a photoshopped version. That's the plan. I photoshopped that in trade school like 4 years ago.
So it's been a long time coming is what you're
So
saying.
it's been a long time. He's been wanting to do it for a long time. He has a weird obsession with 60 series. Yeah, it's time to tell everyone. He's been through like 10 of them. Buying and selling them and doing ridiculous amounts of work to them and then selling them. So this is probably going to be the 11th. So that's the 11th idea.
Hi, my name is Les and I have an addiction to that 60 series.
60 series.
More
Is
importantly,
a slammed 60 series.
more importantly, what's that?
Oh, so my grandparents used to have this. And then they used to sit around and watch this. And it still works. You plugged it in the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, it works, but it's digital now.
Yeah, obviously you can't watch anything on it now, but how friggin' cool is it?
Could we apply Duck Hunter on it?
And 12 volt too. Yeah, it's 12 volt. And battery operated. How cool is that?
We have the man himself, Les, here to answer the big questions now.
What's your favourite part of the shed? There's so much to favourite.
My favourite part is the car hoist.
I feel like having a car hoist is probably the best thing you could ever have.
Yeah, I think everyone would
getting a
appreciate
little bit
that.
old to lay on the concrete now, so having the car hoist is the best.
And the concrete is... What's the concrete? The concrete's helicoptered, isn't it?
Yeah, it's helicoptered, but they kept helicoptering it
Yeah, so it's
a few
pretty,
times.
it's pretty
so
smooth.
It's smooth, but
Yeah.
not dangerous where it gets wet.
Yeah, actually, I noticed that. It is a really nice finish on the concrete.
Yeah, so it's nice and smooth and things wipe up. It does obviously stain it.
Yeah.
But it's a working garage, so shit happens. What would you change about the shed?
Nothing really. I'd love a bigger shed, but living on a normal house block, well, you can't. You can only go so big. But no, I wouldn't change anything. I love it.
What about the cost?
The cost to build this shed was about 25,000. Yeah, that's about it. About 25.
That's not bad. So that's ground up. Is that electrics and everything in it, or you reckon, or?
Yeah, 25 electrics, concrete. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, I done all the
The
plumbing.
rest is all built. Yeah.
And you had someone build it, didn't you?
Yeah, I had someone build this shed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favourite tool?
Oh, hang on, let me think about it. Hang on. It's my favourite tool.
His favourite tool is himself. Honestly, my favourite tool
Oh, yeah.
is the big boy, mate. We did the lift in the patrol last weekend. So we put a 3-inch lift in his GQ Patrol, and if you couldn't get it with the breaker bar, you forgot you had this thing, and this is and it ripped it right off. And that's probably the best thing.
Yeah, that's
is
the
those
best
big
thing.
boy ones.
But no, I do love my car hoist. I do love my car hoist. It's
Yeah.
the best thing I've put in here.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
doesn't
I've
it?
wanted one for years and years, and now I've got one. And my heater.
Yeah. Let's be honest, a heater in our shed would make a really big difference.
We had a Kmart heater.
Yeah, when we were using that shitty radiant heater.
Yeah.
Nah, it's an awesome shed, Les. You should be really proud of it.
Yeah, a lot of work. It's taken me a lot of work. A lot of swap meets. Lucky me brother, he's into this stuff and he gets a lot of stuff for me, so.
Alright, so this is Tinman Fabrications shed, or
Les.
yeah, or
Dad.
Les, or Dad for
Dad.
Nathan, or his play shed as he calls it, because he actually has a factory where he does all the major work. This is just the home shed, I guess.
Yeah.
Not a bad play shed when you think about it, is it?
It is not a bad play shed.
But yeah, we hope you've enjoyed this little walk around and trip down memory lane for Nathan, I suppose. And if you're liking these shed tours, let us know, because we're thinking about continuing to do more of these. We're checking out a few other cool sheds that we know of.
Yeah.
And maybe one day,
Let us know if you have a cool shed.
yeah, maybe one day we'll check out some of your guys' sheds. If you got some cool stuff, you know, we might come by and check that out one day. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens. See what the future holds. But
Yeah.
anyway, hopefully you like this. If you liked what we've seen here today, please make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us out heaps. And if you'd like to help us even further, head over to the website where you can buy a bunch of Hackshop merch, which helps us a great deal to buy more tools like this. 'Cause our shed isn't quite as
Or
full
set
as
the
this
shed
one.
up as cool as this.
Yeah, and big thank you to Burson Garage for helping us out with these episodes, especially when it comes to this shed stuff, because that's what Burson Garage is all about, people in the shed. So what better way to celebrate that than actually Look around someone's shed.
Or head over to the website where you can get members pricing and join competitions, and you can upload your vehicle to your own little profile.
I guess that's it for this episode. Until the next one, next build video, whatever that is, because we still haven't figured that out yet, have we? Who knows? It'll be something. We'll figure it out.
We need to bring a Ford into the shed soon.
Yeah. Anyway, until then, guys, catch you in the next one.
We have one of these because Dad had a lot of Commodores and Holdens growing up, so he's kind of used to calling people on the side of the freeway saying I'm broken down.
No comment on that one?
No comment.
And there's a couple of trophies as well too.
Yeah, there's some trophies. Let's get these trophies were actually from the last Hackshop Garage show. Hackshop Garage car show. 2020, is that when we had it?
That was when we had it, 2020.
Holy crap, that doesn't feel like long ago.
No, it wasn't. It was at the start of last year, January.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All we need is an Aladdin's mat so we can float to get to the mezzanine.
I can show you the world.
Because to get down, it's...
That was pretty good. I'm not going to try to do that with the camera in my hand. It looks like a monster in there.
Yeah, this is his play truck. This is an original Cold Cab GQ TD42, and we just put a 3-inch lift and 35s on it.
Can you fit 35s on the standard lift?
Nope.
Right.